Duisburg in Germany for the International Canoe Federation's second Sprint World Cup of the 2015 season. A massive 612 athletes from 52 nations are competing over the weekend. And today we're going to be watching 8 finals live together. I'm Matthew LEIGHTON, and today in the commentary box I'm joined by 2 top athletes, Emilie FOURNEL from Canada and Pete EGAN from Ireland. Hello to you.
Hi.
Good morning.
We're here to add a bit of value. We'll talk you through the starts, the finishes, tell you how, what, why, when. When is certainly starting in about 2 minutes. We're physically in Duisburg, a regatta course that's been built in 1935. It's hosted 5 world championships and masses of World Cups since they first started internationally performing here in 1980. Temperatures 16 degrees, sunny, well that's pretty much a little bit. The conditions on the course, please.
It's beautiful. I mean, we were just walking here, me and Pete, this morning, and we were saying how it's really going to be a great morning because the course is fair. Every lane looks the same, so it's going to be quick. It's going to be good.
And as you can see on this screen in front of you, we have 7 of the 8 events that we're going to be covering are Olympic events. The birds are ever present here. Their coot is happy on the water. It's their water, and sometimes they do get in the way, but hopefully we'll have no dramatic accidents so far. Pete, you've been racing. What about the... Actually, tell you what, let's go straight to the lineup of the first event, which is the C1 1,000 meters final. And looking down, we have some fascinating competitors here. Sebastian Vettel, who is the Olympic and world champion. Menkov from Uzbekistan, which is the 2009-2000 champion. Mark Aldershaw, bronze medal from London and won both events, the 500 and the 1,000 from last week. Isaac Quiros dos Santos from Brazil, who fell out at the World Championships last year when he arguably would have had a very close battle over the line with Sebastian Vettel. So it's a really high quality field. You have Pavlo Altishov from Ukraine, who's had some good medals in the last year or so. Who else do we have in the count? We have Leonid Karp from Romania. Germany, Ekler, mainly in the C4s. He's won a world gold medal here. Vincent Slominski, who actually won the C2 200s last weekend, came second in the C1 1000. He's got a good pedigree. And Sergei Kretchen, who's 30 years old, from Italy. They're off. Emilie, you're know your sport, because in Canada you have no choice but to follow them all. Let's have your first impressions.
You can really tell that the middle field, everyone just went for it at the start. And I mean, there's 2 Germans in the race, so it's clearly going to be exciting for everyone on the side. It's a long race too, so I mean, the start's important, but these guys all have a plan and see which one works.
Well, in the heat yesterday, there was an interesting heat with Sebastian Vettel and Isaac Quiros dos Santos, where up until halfway mark they were both the same. Vettel upped his pace, and dos Santos said, no, I'm not going to stay with this. He finished 6 seconds back, because the significance of that is the winner of each heat got directly through to the finals. So they've been perhaps economising a bit of effort. Last week we saw Mark Aldershaw. There was a fairly strong tailwind in the first World Cup. Here there's no wind. We saw him flying out and taking control of the race. Let's see what happens in this race today.
And you can see the course is very flat, so for these canoers it's much easier to control their boat and really, you know, make it the field equal. It doesn't matter which side you paddle on.
In your picture is one of the poster boys for the Olympic Games. He's 21 years old, from Brazil. This is a carbon copy where he started at the World Championships last year. He won the C1, by the way, the next day, but in the final of the C1 1,000 meters, it all went wrong over the line.
You can see his style is a bit different than the other guys too. He's a bit quicker rate, a bit of a smaller guy, but he really
quite
knows
a short
how to
paddle there as well. Brendel seems to be coming up the outside though.
We're speaking to Sebastian Vettel. He's happy. It's early in the season. He's happy with performances so far. In the Europeans, he doubled 3 weeks ago. So it's Brazil. Mark Aldershaw on his line.
Fast split there, 153 by the Brazilian. It'll be a good time here in the last 500 meters.
Mark had a great race last weekend, so I'm sure he'll want to build on this before we go home.
Yeah, Mark is looking good there. Third position at the moment. He's just staying with them.
So the bottom of your screen it's Brazil, top of your screen it's Germany, and in the middle it's Canada. Mark Oldershaw clearly has already cemented his position, so he will be representing Canada in the Pan-American and the World Championships. And the World Championships clear this year, extraordinarily crucial because they're the quota places going to be allocated for the Olympic Games. But so far, coming with 2 to go, it's a half a boat length that Brazil lead from Germany.
Santos is certainly holding still half a boat length over Brendel. Sebastian's trying to come back at him.
Well, 200 metres to go, and there's only a metre in it. It looks like a 2-horse race with Mark Oldershaw cementing his third position as we speak, but it's coming into 150 metres to go, and Sebastian Brendel, with the angles of the camera, it's difficult to see, but it's very much neck and neck.
Brendel is just edge in front.
Well, Brendel on his home course.
You can hear the German crowd.
A good crowd today. It's the National Training Centre. Moving into the last 100. It looks like Sebastian Brendel's really taken control of this in the last 200 metres. He's upped his frequency and he's coming through. He's now 2 boat lengths ahead of second place. It's going to be second and third. It's going to be really exciting because Mark Oldershaw is coming back with the Brazilian, but first across the line is Sebastian Brendel. Second is Jose Cuentos dos Santos, and third is Mark Oldershaw. Well, that was a race of tactics. It didn't go out too fast, but it looks like, could you say he controlled the race?
I think so. I think he had a plan and he stuck to it. And, I mean, it paid off in the end. And he almost catched up to the Brazilian who was leading for the whole race. So he should be pleased with that.
First of 8 finals coming to you direct from Duisburg in Germany for the ICF Second World Cup, Sprint World Cup of the 2015 season. All eyes are going to be on Milan this year, where the World Championships are going to be held in August. And if we look at the unofficial results, in 3:52, Sebastian Brendel for Germany takes gold, Jose Cuentos dos Santos silver, 1.9 seconds behind, and Mark Oldershaw takes the bronze medal for Canada. So exciting stuff.
Very exciting. We got the Pan American Games in.
Well, look, it's fast and furious, straight through to the start list of the K1 men, 1,000 metres. Max Hoff looked good. Rennie Holton-Paulsen always looks good. We have the world champion, Daniel Havel. Ali Urania, who's been around 5 or 6 years now, and last couple of years he's been fairly quiet, doing some good stuff in the K2s, but obviously pedigree there. There's Mr. Hoff. Describe his boat, Pete.
Oh, I don't know how to describe that. It's a bit ziggy-zaggy with his red nose there. Bit of a Rudolph nose at the front there, Max, but it definitely looks good when he's racing. And
we're saying
he's definitely a force to be reckoned with today.
Well, his training program has radically changed in the last few months. After 7 years with the same coaches, they've actually changed the structure. It seems to be a lot more personalised, a lot more relaxed. And he said he's done masses of endurance work, and the fact that he hasn't done much sprint work has probably gone in his favour. Rennie Holton-Paulsen had a new coach pretty much a year or so ago. He took a gold medal in the K1 500 at the Worlds in Moscow, and interesting to see how he performs today. Josef Dostal shaved off his beard after the Europeans because he was so disgusted with his performance, and he's growing a little tiny one back, but it's going to be interesting to see how
back in the A final though today. He was only in the B final at the Euros, so
exactly
he'd be looking for revenge. I think he looked very smooth in the semi-finals, very powerful. Don't rule out the Aussie there, Murray Stewart there as well.
Second last week. And often we've seen Murray Stewart likes to take a lead out from the start, but Josef Dostal in the top of the picture, it looks like he's saying, I want to be in this. We haven't mentioned Kirchhoff yet, who's from Bulgaria, who took the second silver medal last year in the Worlds.
This could go anyway, really, when you look at the names that are there. Final, there's so many guys there that I think the difference at the end is going to be minimal, especially between the first 4 or 5 guys. Rene seems to be picking up a bit there. I think we're definitely going to see a good time. The conditions here are really good at the moment. Murray Stewart is also challenging for the front there at the moment, keeping a high pace there for the first 250.
So Murray Stewart fractionally ahead of Rene Holten Poulsen from Denmark. Max Hoff sitting back a little bit.
It's again a bit of a tactical thing, and everyone has a plan, so it's whoever can execute their plan the best. And
there's a game of cat and mouse here though as well. There's a bit of psychology as well. Max is staying in contact there as well. He's just coming up alongside Rene there. Hoff is also in kind of Murray is just that small bit ahead of the rest of the field at the moment.
As we say, Murray Stewart pretty much always goes out on a really fast pace in the first 750s. Case of can he hold on?
Super strong, sort of 600-700 meters at the start.
Well, halfway through, and it's a clear, almost a boat length lead for Murray Stewart, lane 8 from Australia.
You can see Max Hoff got back a little up.
Yeah, Max is coming up. Miroslav Kurcek on the far side there in lane 1 is also a fast finisher. As we already said, he was a medalist at the World Champs last year. Hoff looks quite relaxed, or Doster looks quite relaxed, quite a slow stroke right there.
That's in the yellow boat near the top of your picture. So far it looks like Max Hoff in his zigzag boat is making his move. Can Murray Stewart hold on? Rene Holten Poulsen is dropping back a bit with Dostal in the yellow stripy boat coming forward. But in the last 250 metres to go, the positions are changing.
Max is absolutely tearing it up in the middle of the field there at the moment. He's just come from like over a boat length down to almost half a boat length ahead of Murray. Dostal is starting to come.
Rene Holten Poulsen's really fallen off in the last 150 metres, but it's all about Max Hoff in the stripy boat in the middle of your position. He's half a second ahead of Murray Stewart at the moment.
Just come through the last 200 metres there. Hoff is definitely putting his name. Dostal is trying to close the door.
The Australians is really, he's holding on though.
Oh yeah, he's not giving in. Kurcek out in lane 1 there is trying to close it a bit, but Rene is possibly coming up on Murray Stewart there.
Last 50 metres to go, and it's Max Hoff is taking it through. Dostal in the yellow boat is really approaching fast. Kirchhoff in the top is doing something, and Rene Holten Poulsen decided to make another push, but no doubt about the winner. It's going to be Max Hoff. Dostal's going to be coming second. It looks like Rene Holten Poulsen has decided to do something and takes a very close third place, with fourth going to the top of your screen from Bulgaria, and Murray Stewart from Australia taking a fifth place there. So really, it was a Max Hoff special, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a very impressive win. He really took it from the middle 500 and then just kept going.
Yeah, super. It'll be interesting now to see what his time was there. I think it's about 3:30 there at the moment.
Well, last year he was saying he dominated in the World Cup. Had a slight, he was a bit unwell for a while, and then going to the World Championships, he was saying he didn't really enjoy it. He'd lost the fun out of it, and now the fun aspect's coming back, and he's motivated more than ever, and it seems to be paying off on his home track.
You can see Rene Poulsen's last meters were really good too. He came up from 5th to 3rd, and you know, I think he really made a difference in these last little meters.
Yeah, his race plan sort of stuck together there, and he got himself back on the podium. He didn't get too carried away in the middle. Didn't try to hold Hoff's pace there, which was blistering there in the middle of the 1,000 meters.
There's the winner in the K1 1,000 meters men in Duisburg in the second World Cup of the season, and it is Max Hoff. It looks like 3:30 there. Unofficial timing. Dostal takes the second, the silver medal from the Czech Republic. Rene Holten Poulsen 2 seconds back, takes it for Denmark, really close to Miroslav Kirchhoff. And then we have Murray Stewart, Mohamed Al-Marabet, Alexei, and the rest follow on from there.
Very good start for the Germans on their home course, 2 wins.
It's frequently like that in the World Cups, wasn't it? Last year in the World Championships they didn't fulfill their potential, but they changed an awful lot of things and did something. Emilie FOURNEL, this is one of your specialities. It's going to be really interesting now. The K1 500 meters. On paper, Ewelina Wisniewska from Poland, she's the former athlete, but Lisa Carrington is the only event she's actually taking place in. There she is, taking part in this weekend. She's actually decided to have a little rest from the 200 meters. What are your thoughts?
Well, for having raced that race many times, I think it could go any way. That's the best part about K1 500. It's anybody's game, really. All you need is a lane. So I think it'll be a very close and interesting race.
Well, 28 years old from Poland. She's one of the 6 or 7 athletes that switch around a lot, but last year she did win, I believe, in Rachici in the 500 meters, and also won the Europeans 3 weeks ago. So she's the form athlete as we speak. Hopefully we'll have a little chance to see some of the athletes there. That's Wojciech Kudzenska, just 23 years old from Belarus. Again, she mixed it, had a lot of finals in the last 3 or 4 years, often in the K4 that came second in the Worlds last year, I believe. Feel free to add if you see any particular athlete.
With Bridget Hartley there as well as the Olympic bronze medalist there from London. She's in the lineup.
Michelle Russell's in 8. She's my teammate, and she's very quick off the line. So
former world under-23 world champ.
Didn't she only make the B final last week? So it'll be interesting to see how she comes forward. Bridget, as you see, she'd had suffered from chickenpox a couple of years ago. Last year she wobbled a bit then in the Worlds, took the bronze medal, and last week she was mid-place in the A final, and her coach said, well, Craig said it's about
and we're
what
off.
you expect. And we're going for action, lane number 8.
Rachel Cawthorne has
Russell.
gone very fast out there in lane 1.
So 1 and 8 so far. Rachel Cawthorne, we haven't mentioned her, clearly an Olympian from Great Britain. She came 6th in here. Last year mainly was in the team boats, but how are they going today?
Well, you can see Michelle Russell, also she's from Canada. She's a quick starter, and she really used that this morning.
Yeah, and you see Alana Nichols there has taken it out very fast there, head-to-head with Lisa.
Alana Nichols, you see she had pretty much 3 years out of top international competition due to various injuries, but she came back last weekend. But in the first few meters, it's in the black and white boat, it's Lisa Carrington.
Lisa's certainly in control there at the moment, and Polish girl Beta is just off her.
Well, they're the two on paper, they're the 2 favourites with Wisniewska.
Rachel Cawthorne is making a bit of a move here. Rachel's a very strong finisher in the last 200 metres.
That's right, at the top of your picture in lane number 1 in the dark boat. But Lisa Carrington, as we approach 200 metres to go, she has a 2-metre lead over Poland. Wisniewska, Ewelina Wisniewska, these are the 2 girls who expect to do something.
Oh, Lisa's looking super smooth there.
She's keeping her momentum and really pushing for the line.
The Belarusian girl is hanging on to maybe 3rd there. She's neck and neck with the British Rachel Cawthorne. But Lisa's definitely in command here at the Polish girl in 2nd.
Well, coming up to the last 100 metres, and Lisa Harrington.
Polish girl is coming alongside Lisa, though. They are definitely...
Well,
this
last
is going to be
meters,
tight.
It's going to be close. It's Lisa Carrington has a fraction ahead of Poland with lane number 6 Belarus coming into. This is normally where Lisa said it's my race. She's holding on there. It's going to be hurting. They come up to the line, and it's Lisa Carrington take it by about 1.5 meters from Poland, with Belarus coming up in 3rd position.
Rachel Cawthorne pulled up well, I think, at the 4th position there. I think your Michelle Russell took 5th.
Yeah, I think that was a very good race for her. Very close field, and I mean, impressive race.
Well, as ever, she keeps her emotions internally, but she's breathing heavily. Lisa Carrington, the 25-year-old from national hero almost from New Zealand.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Lisa's got a great record since 2011.
Well, that's the last time we're going to see Lisa this weekend. I mentioned she's off to Copenhagen this afternoon, in fact. So she's again going to be watching the event on TV tomorrow and preparing for Copenhagen, which is going to be the 3rd World Cup of the season. Michelle, will she be happy with that?
I think she will be very happy. She's improved from last week, and I think last week we were just coming off the plane, and maybe she had a bit of a tired from the travels, but she really used her good starts, and you can see she's keeping in touch with everybody in the field. So I mean, we did some great work together for 3 months in Florida, and she deserves the results for sure.
And why are you not racing this weekend in the K1 500?
I'm racing in the K4 this year to try to qualify it for the Rio. In 2012 we didn't have a K4 Canada, so putting the efforts into making the K4.
Max Hoff just walking in front of the
VIP
here.
tent saying hello to his friends. And unofficially, it's Lisa Carrington, 151.888, ahead of Ewelina Wisniewska from Poland and Wolha Kudzenska, third place with Rachel Cawthorne and Hermione Peters from Belgium, who remarkable race, 20 years old, and she's that's probably the best finish of her career so far, with Elena Nichols taking the next place. Max Hoff, by the way, is going to be joining us in the commentary box in Copenhagen on the Sunday next week.
Yeah, that Belgian girl, I think she was a European medalist at junior level, and she's certainly progressed up into senior level here, making the A final here this weekend.
Yeah, 2012 she won 2 gold medals in the 500 and the 1000. Then last year her best result was the 5,000 meters. As you see here, there's Lisa Carrington just checking some details. Rachel Cawthorne.
Girls congratulating each other there.
Well, Rachel Cawthorne, it's her first international outing of the season, so it'll be interesting to see where they are. They'll clearly be going on to Copenhagen next week. Last week the Brits had a
very good race there by Rachel there, got up into 4th place.
But Lisa Carrington's creating some sort of aura around her, isn't she, really? She's done it now in the K1 200. She hasn't yet met and won't meet this season, I don't think, Danuta Kozak, but it seems to be she's really showing that she's got a lot of skill at both distances.
She's very consistent, which, you know, the rest of the field tends to switch a lot, and girls are in and out of the final or in and out of the top, but she really keeps the same sort of results.
Just been talking to her coach, Gordon Walker, as they analyse how the results were. So this is the grandstand. It's starting to fill up. It's a picnic atmosphere. The athletes are coming and saying hello to their families after they've competed. Got the 2 Germans in front of us.
That's why it's a great course. It just feels very intimate, and it has a bit of a stadium feel to it. So for us kayakers that are out on the water, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, no, there's a good atmosphere here, especially when the bigger crowds are here. There's quite a decent amount of people, though, that have turned up here to watch the finals, though, this morning. Canoe kayak is pretty big, though, in Germany. They got a lot of followers.
The sun's not so out, so the sunburns won't be that bad.
Yeah, last week we were suffering a little bit with the heavy wind and the 32, 33 degrees on Sunday. There's some red faces were on the plane a couple of days ago. There you can see Stefan Holtz chatting to family and friends as he takes his place to cheer on his compatriots. I think he was 6th in the C1 200 meter B final.
B final this morning,
That's
yeah.
right. So a bit of a break between races. We're going to have a ceremony in a few minutes. We try and show you as much as we can packed into an hour and a quarter. So there's next is going to be, we're changing disciplines. We're down to the K2 200 meters. Pete Egan, you're a specialist in this. What have you done so far this weekend? What can we look out for?
Oh, these guys lining up here now for the final. This is going to be so hard to call this race. It's going to be so tight. From the heat stage to the semi-finals yesterday, and then now this final. I watched the B final earlier this morning there. Swedish crew, Eric Spencer and Christian Svanquist won that, narrowly missing out on the A final yesterday in their semi-final. This morning, though, there's definitely the home crowd are going to be cheering for Ronnie and Tom.
Let's break off there a couple of seconds because we're following the first medal ceremony of the day, and the protocol is the athletes are led out. It's familiar faces to fans of this level stepping onto the podium today.
It's really, really nice to see.
Ladies and gentlemen, represents the medalist for the C1 men 1000.
Mark is getting married in 2 weeks, so adding to his excitement, I'm sure.
Everyone's getting married now.
I guess.
The medal is represented by Mr. Istvan Rasputi, Vice President of the International Canoe Federation. Bronze medalist
So this is the C1 1,000 meters for men. Mark Aldershaw from Canada. Last week he took gold in the 500 and 1,000. And this week he takes another medal for Canada. Very smart tracksuit.
Yeah, very good. And he's, you know, Pan American Games are coming to his city this summer, so I think he's really keen for having a good summer and a good race there. So it's a good build-up.
And Esteban Vasuki giving out the medals. It's the first time we've seen José Quiros dos Santos from Brazil this season. Unfortunately, it's going to be the only time we're going to see him on the World Cup circuit this year. He'll have some motivation, I think, to go back and train hard, being soundly beaten, if we're honest.
Yeah, they've got a good time now to go back home, work towards the World Champs in Milan.
And leaving off from starting from where he left off last year, it's Sebastian Brendel, who takes another gold medal. Last season he pretty much cleared up, didn't he? He won the golds in the
totally, yeah.
Everything
Dominated.
Yeah, I think the only thing he didn't was the 500 meters in the worlds last year, but everything else he was the top man. I think we might see quite a lot of that this weekend, which is Germany taking the top spot.
I'm sure it's pretty special anyway to win on your home course and in front of your fans.
Yeah, friends, family, and your home fans and club mates all here watching you.
Sebastian Brendel takes the gold at the ICF Duisburg Sprint World Cup 2015. Well, sometimes we have the national anthem, sometimes we don't. Looks like probably not today.
Doesn't seem to be happening today, all right.
As long as we don't have to sing, then I'm don't have a good singing voice, I think.
Okay.
We'll save those listening on the live stream to our singing.
Freddie Mercury in the background singing away. I suppose that's good.
We'll leave it to Freddie.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, certainly your Pan American Games this year will be interesting. Dos Santos there, and Mark, I'm sure will be head-to-head for that spot.
Very good race coming up for sure, yeah.
Okay, I said to those to communicate much. I was speaking to Sebastian Brendel yesterday. I said, do you communicate with Isaac much? He said, unfortunately, no, because the natural language to communicate would be through English, but Isaac, his Portuguese is better than his English, so that unfortunately... Pete, this is your event. Take us away. What can we see?
Wow. Listen, it's certainly going to come from the middle of the field. I don't know who's going to take this. Serbia just narrowly were beaten by the Germans there. At the European Champs. Ronnie and Tom definitely, of course, want this here on the home territory. You know, they're not going to have it easy though. With the Lithuanians, Armas Lankas, Edvinas Ramanauskas there in lane one, European bronze medalist this year and last year. Totally.
And I'm going to be a little biased here, but in lane 9 it's Canada. It's my brother, and he's back with his old partner Ryan Cochran. They haven't raced together since the Olympics 2012. So hopefully,
yeah,
it's
they
their
had
comeback.
a super semi-final there to take the third spot to qualify there.
Liam Heath, Johnny Schofield, their bronze medal from the Olympic Games. So we have a lot of Olympians here today.
Just
see how
draw your attention. They're the only K2 here in the final in the new Nello Cinco boat here. So they're the first K2 in the A final here to race. Everyone else is racing the Quattro model.
Juvet Beaumont, they've had some good results. Maxime Beaumont in the back there won the K1 200 metres last year, but he said his priority is very much a case of the K2 for this year. And Sebastian Juvet, as we know, is 2010, 2011 world champion with Anna Ibois. Rizzi, Florio, they've had some good results as well.
Oh yeah, European A finals, but there's also a second Italian crew who've made the A final here today as well. So this is obviously a competition in their selection process for possibly either the European Games in Baku or to be selected for Milan later in the season. So a lot at stake for these crews.
Yeah, it's really... There's your brother.
There's the brother there sneaking in the bottom of the shot.
Yeah, looking good.
No sign of the Ryan Scrizz Cochran. Here he is.
Are you nervous watching him?
Yes, a little bit, of course. I can't do anything. A little push or something would be nice.
Okay, Tom Labuschagne, I spoke to him yesterday after the race. He said Ronnie Rouse is slightly back niggle, and that's why they weren't perfectionists in the last 50 metres yesterday. But in the World Championships last year, I suppose it was a surprise for Novakovic and Grujic win. And we haven't mentioned yet
the crew here at the moment on the lineup, aren't we?
It looks like the Russians. I can't see the Russians.
Postagrai and Daishenko, where are they?
Can we see them? No, we can't see
No,
them.
there's no sign of them here on the race has gone off.
Well, no, they're not there. It is a surprise. So who's going to be the first out?
Very quick.
Yeah,
The French were very quick last week to start.
The French and K1s were first and third at the World Cup last
And the Canadians on lane 9 look to have a scintillating start.
Very big.
Oh yeah, absolutely, out of the blocks. Oh, this is so close. The Serbs seem to be edging in front.
Well, very much case of lane 5 in the red boat. It looks like Serbia are taking it from Germany with lane number 2 coming up, but Serbia are going to take fairly clear victory here. Serbia take it from Germany. The French have gone for a swim.
Oh,
What a quick race.
Yeah.
Very hard to call.
Well, we saw in the World it was Serbia. We saw in the Europeans after photograph finish it was Germany. It looks like the young Serbians have taken their revenge.
they have.
Good start. Beginning it doesn't really count for much in the Worlds, but it's a good start. And the brothers coming in honourable position at the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, they had a crazy start, so hopefully they'll be happy with it.
Looks like Heath and Schofield are claiming the bronze medal, which they often do.
Yeah, it's just hard to see them in that black boat there on the photo finish.
We'll just have to see if we can have any news from Postiga and Derchenko, who are the Olympic champions. They wobbled a bit last season. Have to see why they. I haven't actually seen them about this morning at all.
No, and they're not in the warm-up area from what I can see, because the Serbians there are getting their revenge after the Europeans. They lost fractionally to the Germans there 3 weeks ago.
Again, consistency. It's pretty. Same crew seems to.
At 31.6 unofficially seems to be the time, and yeah, German second, British third. Your brother, I think, squeezed into fifth place there. So they got to be happy with that.
I think so.
Yeah, just behind the French just squeezed them out. They were fifth. Or fourth, should I say, sorry.
Good eyes, Pete.
Oh, eagle eyes up here.
Well, it's unofficial still at the moment. They won by 0.08 hundredth of a second. It's Serbia taking from Germany, Great Britain, France, Italy, Canada, Lithuania and Italy as well, all within 1.34 of a second.
That was tight. The French here in front of us getting carried back by the rescue boat there after just falling in.
Pushing it over the line.
They made it to the line, that's the main thing.
We have 2 minutes to race 122.
We've another big race lining up here now, guys. The C1A final of the 200 metres. I know there's a race off here for the World Championship swap between the two Lithuanian athletes.
Side by side.
Yeah, lanes 5 and 6, Yevgeny Shuklin and Henrikas Ustatas.
Shuklin is the pedigree giant out there.
Got your Jason McCombs is out here as well, representing Canada, made the A final.
Yeah, he was
Stress
also.
is off, isn't it now?
Yeah, he was also racing up for the world spot. So, I mean, I'm sure he'll want to prove to everyone what he's capable of in this race.
Well, he's made it into the A final, so he's certainly on form at the moment.
And we saw Ben come fourth, I believe, about an hour ago in the C1 200B final. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a strong program we have for 200 in Canada. So these guys really have to fight for the spot.
Jason McCombs, he's still young, but putting some good performances forward. Who else stands out? Well, looking down, we have Moldova, then we have China. Only 4 athletes from China in the whole. In the whole competition. Then Alfonso Benavides Lopez de Ayala. He just second? Did he win? I think he won last week.
Yeah.
In
There's also
Portugal.
the Belarusian. I noticed as well that we've no Russians here in the canoe this weekend.
No, none at all. That's their tactic.
Yeah.
Or their plan, rather.
Their kayak men are here, all right.
Yep. There's Alfonso. He has many victories in World Cups, and last week he won. Normally when he comes against Lithuania, Yevgeny Shuklin, statistically he comes off second best.
He is the Olympic bronze medal, Shuklin. Just
Thomas Sima at the bottom of your picture from France. And Iran.
And here the starter there, the British starter, Pete Moole. And they're off.
Good start in lane number 7 there.
Lane 6, the Ustatas, the Lithuanian, also got
Yevgeny
a flyer.
Shuklin, in your pictures, you said it is a trial race. There's two going head and head here. more
certainly
like
head to
shifting.
head. Definitely coming from lane 5 and 6, I think, at the moment.
Lane number 3 is probably going to be in there at the end. It's lane number 6 at the moment. Oof. Just Astos ahead, but Benavides coming back at the top of your picture, moving into the last 40 metres. It's half a length from number 6, which is Lithuania. Looks like he's going to take the victory fairly convincingly in the end, and second might be Spain, just lunging for the line. Well, if you say it's a race-off between Lithuania and Lithuania, no doubt about the winner.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. Winning his selection and winning the final, so
You can see him very excited.
he's very ecstatic there. Got about 2.5 months now to prepare now for his World Championship in Milan, and there's a possibility, I'm sure, he could be representing Lithuania at the European Games in Baku next month.
A lot of the athletes are heading out to Baku. First European Games. Should be exciting. Big turnouts there.
Yeah, no, it'll be. I think it'll be a good event because it's the first time we've ever had it here, compared to the other continents like the Oceania Games, the Asian Games, the Pan American Games.
Will Jason McCoons be happy with that performance?
I think he will. I think, you know, it's his comeback on the international scene for senior this year, so I think, you know, he was right in there.
So Jason and Ben Tardioli, it's been going on for 2 or 3 years now. Very tight, isn't it?
Yeah, since the London Olympics, it's been back and forth for them, so it's always interesting to see. They're good friends and they train together, so I think, you know, it's good rivalry.
I think Jason got 7th position looking at the unofficial results here. Jesus does seem to do a 39.89 unofficially.
Just Astos Henrikas from Lithuania takes the first place. Chang Li, we didn't mention him. They're calling second. He came just ahead of Alfonso Benavides Lopez de Ayala. Chang Li, clearly he won the Asian Games, and also he was in, I think, 7th in the Worlds last year, so perhaps we didn't mention him as much as we should have done, but his history is in February this year he was ill, so took a month out of training, and then he took a medal last week, and he's coming back to form, isn't he? He's by far the top Chinese athlete.
Yeah.
That's what happens with these quick races. You can't say everything you want to say in 40 seconds.
Next race up today is going to be
Women's K2 200 final.
Women K2 200 final. There you go. Poland, Australia, Kazakhstan, Germany, New Zealand, Great Britain, Belarus, and Iran. Last weekend, the race was won by Victoria Schwartz and Anna Lehachi from Austria. They're going to be concentrating in the K2 500, I guess, this weekend.
I'd have to say there's going to be a lot of pressure there from the Belarusian girls there. I think they were the winners there on screen. There we have Kale Imre and Amy Fisher, the Kiwi girls who were in the quartet of the K4 last weekend that won the World Cup in the K4 500 metres in Portugal.
Always smiling, always ready to give it their all, and New Zealand are really putting a good performance together this season. Natalia Sergeyeva, I'm a bit annoyed with her because she convinced me last year that she was retiring, but at 39 years old she decided to change her mind this season, so we said goodbye lots of times, and now we're saying welcome back with Irina Ponikakova.
Fierce competitor, so she's always
got the Germans here, Sabine Volz and Connie Wasmuth there.
Connie's been switching different partners the last couple of years. In fact, the Germans have really been switching it about, haven't they?
They've jiggled their women's team around, definitely, yeah, just a little bit.
Lani Boucher, Angie Hanna, they looked on good form yesterday. Lani Boucher, by the way, will be joining me in the commentary box next Saturday. The second
British crew as well. Hayley Mason and Louisa Sawyers, lane 6 and lane 7, side by side.
Bit of internal competition there.
Here's another Belarusian crew here.
Sofia Yurchenko, Alexander Grishna. The Belarusians, they do mix and match. They put the girls in the 200s, the 500s, and there's about 5 or 6 that are good.
Aussies on screen there, Bernie Wallace and Jamie Roberts.
The Islamic Republic of Iran also having a team in. They're putting quite a few athletes in the finals in the last few weeks.
Their program's really stepped up. It's good to see.
They have a lot of athletes here. You can see their squad has grown.
Well, this looks like the competition. It looks like it's an open race, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah, Vicky and Anna certainly have maybe the edge after winning last weekend, and they're off. There's the British girls in the middle there.
2 Brits in lane 6 and lane 7.
Lane 6, Lanny Belcher and Angela Hanna seem to be just edging it ahead of the Kiwi girls, I think, at the moment.
Well, they had the better results in the qualifications yesterday, looking motivated, and there's 3 teams with New Zealand also coming back, and Germany. It's
Germans
the Brits in lane number 6 from number 4 with New Zealand still in it, so it's the 3 lanes there, neck and neck between Germany and Great Britain. It looks like Great Britain just pulling ahead. And coming to the line, it's Great Britain takes it from Germany from New Zealand.
Great performance there from Lanny and Angela. I think they'd be quite happy with that.
Last time we saw Lanny Belcher in a World Cup was last year in Szeged, when she won the K2 500 with Rachel Cawthorne, so she's on form. As I say, she's going to be coming in to do the commentary next Saturday with us in Copenhagen, so we'll hear all about that, no doubt.
For sure.
But great result again for the Great Britain team.
Yeah, this is their first outing this year of their British A team. They didn't race the Senior Euros and Portuguese. They had some development teams there under 23.
And it's a new partnership. Well, there's a lot of new partnerships. The Great Britain are trying out new partnerships, but certainly it seems to be working at the moment.
Yeah, they have a good squad of girls. They've got about sort of, say, 6 to 8, maybe even 6 to 10 girls that they're working with.
Well, Louisa Sawyer's in the back of your picture we saw there. She's the reigning world 5,000 metre champion.
Yeah, I think Louise is taking to the water in the 5,000 metres tomorrow afternoon.
Your little sister?
Yeah, my sister will be out there as well. Yeah, they'll be mixing it up in the 5K there. Once the gate goes, that's it. Everyone lets loose. Full on carnage.
Coming to you live from Duisburg. Both my guests have family members involved. Pete Egan has the younger sister involved, Jenny, and also Emilie FOURNEL. We saw her brother Hugues a few minutes ago as well, so it's very much keeping it in the family. And both your families are involved. Your father was a great champion. Was it 1996 he had his year of glory?
Yeah, 1976.
That's what I meant, sorry.
When the Olympic Games were in Canada, in Montreal, where we're from. So yeah, it's very much a family affair. Some families have, Canadian family have hockey sticks and skates in their garage. We got paddles.
38.218 was the time that Great Britain, Lanny Belcher and Louisa Sawyers, and no, it wasn't Louisa Sawyers, it was Angela Hanna winning gold. Germany take the silver, and New Zealand just 0.6 of a second back, taking the bronze medal, with the second GB team taking the 4th position. So again, we're switching distances. We've covered 3 races over 200 metres, and now we're going to be stepping it up again. We're going back up to 1,000 metres, and it's the K2A final for men. So far, this hour of live activity goes. There's 2 days that are fairly slow. There's the Friday with all the qualifications and heats, and seems to go on ever. But when you actually hit the live finals, it's bang, 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 isn't it? You didn't have a chance to breathe.
No, it's really, really exciting, and it's such a high level regatta here. So it seems like all the teams showed up and really are testing.
The schedule's changed a little bit here as well this weekend. You know, some of we had the K2 200 meters on yesterday, the heat semi-finals and their final this morning. The men's, then the K1 200 meters started late last night. Their semis are only on late this afternoon, and then their finals are tomorrow, whereas usually the 200 meters are Saturday afternoon events.
Well, I think the fact that it's over, there's 330 last week in Portugal, there's 612 looking to mirror the Olympics, and then the interesting news is in Copenhagen we go back to last year's schedule. So it's a case of adapt, young athletes, and this is what it's all about. But so far we've had 6 races, some really good performances, different countries winning. I guess that's what we want.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's everyone wants their piece of the cake, so it seems like this morning everyone's
Gianfranco there on the picture. He's the driver and the mechanic of the TV set. Well, they're lining up now for the next event.
See the German K2 there just on the dock there with their coach, Max Reinschmidt and Marcus Gross there. They're going to be one of the favourite K2s for this K2000 metres.
They'll be off at 11:58, so in about 12 minutes time, if my watch is correct. So first of all, we're going to have 2 victory ceremonies coming up in the next in the next few minutes. So a chance to, as I mentioned when we first came on, it's difficult to please everyone. Some people believe that we should show all the victory ceremonies, but as we're only live on TV for about an hour, so that's not really practical if we can actually have all the.
There's your brother sneaking across there with Ryan.
Nice.
He's coming back from his. So what's you two obviously very close. Have you had a chat with him this morning, and how's he feel?
Yeah, no, I this morning saw him, he was excited.
So we're on the screen, so hello, that's where we're coming from. That's enough. Turn the camera off and start looking at
the birds.
Yeah. The geese.
Sorry, you had your moment of glory and you forgot about your brother totally.
True, yeah, no. Obviously not. No, it's so nice to see him before racing, obviously.
Just in front of us here, we have the prize given at the K1000 meters.
And again, it's 3 giants in every sense of the sport. So I suspect that over the next maybe even a couple of years, these 3 is going to be battling it out for supremacy.
We present the medalists for the K1 1000 meter race.
It's amazing when you look down at these 3 guys at the podium. Rene is the smallest of them, and he's 6'3". I think Max is probably about maybe 6'4", 6'5", and then Joseph Dawson then
a bit bigger. When you see him sitting in your boat, it's almost like he's got the wrong size, isn't it?
Oh, he's just a monster.
Well, he has his own boat made for him. Rene Holton Poulsen takes the bronze medal. I don't think there's more athletes that are on the podium as much as Rene. He seems to always be there or thereabouts. Extraordinary. Enters a lot of events.
Yeah, he's a tremendous record there.
He loves to race, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, Rene loves to race.
And next week he's going to be the king of his own course.
Yeah, he'll be looking for a win for sure.
It's the first time the World Cup's been in Copenhagen in a long time.
Joseph Dolstall steps up to take the silver medal. That's not the one he wants. My ears are still hurting because we were quite close to him last year when they crossed the line in the K1000 meters of the World's Championships, and he let out a roar.
He seems pleased this morning.
That's good news.
Yeah, he looks pretty happy with his silver medal.
And Max Hoff at home takes the gold medal with a very dominant performance. He didn't see the race. He held back for the first half, moved ahead a little bit in the 750, then said in the last 200 meters, it's my race.
And then won pretty clearly, so that was impressive.
His race plan certainly came together for him this morning.
Congratulations to the winners of the K1 1000 meter men's race. Don't know what's gone wrong there. It's the first time I've ever not seen Rene with his camera out.
Yeah,
it's in his hand.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry. Oh, here we go. You spoke too soon there, man.
Thought he must have forgotten it. So within about 5 minutes, that's going to be on Twitter.
The fans, they're important.
I think it's a great idea to share your experiences.
Oh yeah, it's a good connection with those athletes at home and abroad. Your club mates. All the juniors that look up to these guys who are probably watching at home.
And we're due to have another medal ceremony. The next race-off is in about 8 minutes.
The conditions stayed fairly calm and nice, so that we, again,
There's
very
no complaints out there, are there, today?
No, it's beautiful.
And just a little bit about you two in the next, Emilie FOURNEL from Canada, you're going in the K4 500, so you haven't actually raced this weekend yet?
No, I only start at 4:30 this afternoon, so looking forward to that. A little anxious to go after watching everyone. Yeah, exactly.
And Pete, you just came up slightly short in your race so far.
Yeah, we didn't progress in the earlier stages of the K2 200 meters. I have the 5K in K1 tomorrow afternoon, so try and refocus and have a better run of it tomorrow.
And why not?
Just looking down at the guys down there, I correct me if I'm wrong, but I still think Joseph Dostal is under 23, which is quite an achievement for him at that age.
Quite frightening. And clearly part of the K4 boat, which has been performing incredibly well.
Oh, the Czech K4 is tremendous at the moment. Has been since 2012. They've Olympic bronze medalist. I think he was only 19, maybe not even 20 at that stage.
And then last season they were almost forced to go in the try different disciplines because Daniel Havel had an injury, so they couldn't go to the K4 at the beginning of the season.
Daniel Havel paddled well though. He was in the K1 1,000 meter final this morning.
Where we're going to be presenting the next ceremonies as soon as they can organise everyone in front of us. Have you ever chopped a bird in half training?
No. Hit a few. Swans sometimes. Not so many. Most of them are like at home. It's a natural reservoir, so they tend to do their own thing in at the sides. It's quite wide. It's not a sprint course like this.
But here they're quite possessive, aren't they? We have seen some very close calls.
Yeah, I think as long as the babies aren't around, you're safe.
That's okay. Because they don't always move out of the way, do they?
No, I think we invade their home a little bit.
Move back to business. This season, clearly the time to peak is in Milan. Do you both change your training, or is it training geared and you're racing geared to Milan?
Oh, for sure. I think every team here too has goes back home and builds it back up towards the Worlds. And I mean, it's a long season, so you really have to make sure that you can maintain the speed throughout the summer. So I think, this is just an introduction to racing and feeling the field, and then seeing where you need to up your game for the rest of the season.
So this is almost like a testing ground to see where you are at the moment. And there's quite a few selection situations being sorted out as well, haven't there?
Yeah, I think it's, again, early. It's May, and there's still a couple months before Olympic qualifiers, so everyone's testing out what would be the best options, and then get to go back to their.
And just explain why are the World Championships so important? How do the quota systems work?
Oh, how to explain this in ordinary English? Well, we got the World Champs in Milan, which is the first opportunity to qualify for Rio Olympic Games. To go through the different categories briefly, without complicating too much, I suppose would be the K1 would be 8 positions in Milan. Then the K2s is top 6, and then you have one opportunity in the K4s to be top 10. In that top 10 in the K4s, I believe you must have representation by 3 continents. And then if you don't qualify in Milan at the World Champs, you go back to your continental qualifiers, such as the Pan American Games or the European Continental Qualifier, the Oceania Qualifier, or the Asian Qualifiers. And from that, then, in each of the individual events, they'll count back what positions are available and will be offered at those in their respective disciplines.
Thank you very much.
That's as simple as I could
No,
going into the politics of it.
We'd like to give you the details, which is great, which is what you have. And here we have the 3 teams that were taking part, or rather that take medals in the K2 200 meters.
Again, familiar faces for this event, for the podium.
Very much so.
The Serbian crew there, who were the world champs last year in Moscow, holding and retaining their positions on the top of the podium. Ronnie and Tom.
Ronnie and Tom came together for the first time last year in Milan, and they said, let's see what happens, and it clicked, didn't it?
Oh, it runs fantastically. The old bull and the young bull.
And Ronnie said he's going on at least to 2017, and Tom's targeting 2020, then decides if he has to get a job or not.
Tom is another very young athlete. I think
22
he's
years old.
22, yeah. He's like Joseph Dostal, very young, under 23 still. Ronnie, I think, is now 33 years of age.
That's right. This is his 19th season.
It's a fantastic record, and
He said he loves racing. Anyway, here we go. The bronze medalists are Liam Heath and Johnny Schofield from Great Britain. They're very consistent for the last 4 years. They're medalists, as we know, in London.
4 or 5 years they have nearly at every World Cup or European Championship. I think bar maybe 2 or 3 at maximum. They've always been on the podium.
Liam Heath obviously very, very fast in the K1 200. Johnny Schofield, the next wild water racer. So they come from interesting backgrounds.
They do, yeah, but they gel fantastically together, and they're not the biggest crew either. When you see them, you know, lined up there against, like, say, the Serbian crew, who are very big in stature.
Well, there might be some disappointment here. It's Germany takes the silver medal. Ronnie Rao and Tom Leibischer. 12 years difference.
I think they know that, you know, this race is so close. So second.
I think they'll be happy with a silver medal. They
we'll
won the European champs, so they're good.
I know yesterday when I was speaking to them, they wanted the win. But we'll ask but say Ronnie had a slight back strain. Yeah. But it's very.
That into consideration, I'm sure he'll be pleased with a silver medal.
Well, they were in Florida for a long time. They trained where we are, and you know, I know they were training really hard to again win, like you said.
Well, it's hard for training for Tom Leibischer because. Ronnie Rao is a perfectionist in every single degree, but the winners, no doubt about that, it's Nebojša Burić and Marko Novakovic, the reigning world champions, who've come to prove they are really high performance level from Serbia.
Yeah, the Serbs have great depth in their squad at the moment. They also have the European K1 200 meter champion as well, another Marko Dragislajevic, who will be going, I think, in the A final later, the semi-finals are on later today.
He's also going in the 500 meters.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I'm sure he's just using it for race practice. But
well, he has a new boat and he hasn't used it much, and he actually he said I'd like to do it, and so the team said yes. So interesting enough as well, in the K1 200, he actually didn't win the national trials. These two boys came in front of us, and you just seen on your screen, but they decided to go for the K2 200, so let them in place. So there you go.
Yeah.
Very consistent crew. They're always up there.
Well, I've been waiting for quite a while. They've been circulating for a few minutes now. It's the K2 1000 meters. Australia in lane 8. They won last weekend. Hungary, we have Canoe and Peter Vas, the young team, the under-23s. They actually came second in the Hungarian trials, which was a great surprise last weekend. They came from absolutely nowhere, so it's going to be interesting to see how they're actually performing.
There's 2 Hungarian crews here. The old dog is here, Zoltan Kamara as well.
They won the trials last week. Yeah. They won the trials, which was quite surprising.
They were very good in the semi-final there yesterday.
As you see, Zoltan Kamara, he's when he was 18 years old, he was in Atlanta in the K1 1000. He's the most decorated Hungarian. Apparently, he's also, I think he's had a seat in the K4 for the last 15 years. 2 gold medals in the Olympics.
Some medal. 37 years of
that's
age.
Right, yeah. Anyway, let's give a bit of time to some of the others. Russia have a small team here. Luchkin and Zestov. Zestov obviously won the gold medal in the back seat of the K4 1000 2 years ago. They're switching the K4 around in Russia at the moment. They're still experimenting a little bit.
We have the Aussies in the middle there. Ken Wallace at Lachlan Tame won the World Cup last weekend in Portugal in a super fast time at 3:08.
Belarus in your picture. Lockie, as we mentioned, he's just changed from K1 200 to K2 1000. His worst ever result in his 2 outings was they came silver medal in the Worlds last year.
Yeah.
So he's setting up for Fawley. Here they are on the start line.
The Belarusians as well in lane 9 there.
Flying start from Australia. The problem with Australia is they say that Lockie Tame always thinks it's a 200 meter race, so he goes out flat out.
We didn't talk about the home crew there, the Germans, Max Reinschmidt and Marcus Gross. They are the European champions there.
They're back on form, aren't they? Because they won the Worlds 2 years ago. Had a bit of a wobble last year when they were to be taken a couple of times by the French pairings.
They look very good now in their in the early stages here.
Well, you can see them in the middle of the picture. They're actually taking out an early lead from Kenny Wallace, who's setting the pace in lane number 8 for Australia.
Yeah. Lachlan Tame there in the back of the Australian boat there was a 200 meter paddler until June last year, and then suddenly put him in the back of that K2 with Kenny, and they clicked, and as you said, they went and won a silver medal at the World Champs in Moscow.
But this is
tremendous turnaround.
The first big test. The Germans, they are looking to...
The Aussies are looking very strong.
Ken's also known for his great finishes, so
Yeah, and Lachlan Tame has the speed as well from his 200 meters. So
Here they are in your picture we're talking about. A lot of interest back home. Kenny Wallace, Lachlan Tame, Lockie. Setting an early pace.
Setting a really early pace. And I mean, like I said, he's known for a great finish, so...
the two Hungarian crews there in the middle as well are neck and neck. This could possibly be a Hungarian selection for the World Champs.
Now the Hungarian selections are internally. The first selection was last weekend when Canberra actually...
Very tight field, halfway.
Shot there, Kenny there.
He's actually going in the 5,000 meters this weekend because he felt a bit he was cheating himself last weekend, only getting one race, which was the first time in 2005 he hasn't reached the final. Well, there's 4 boats in a row now.
The Hungarians are coming, camera coming forward there in the center of the picture as they approach the last 400 meters.
Germany in your picture.
Neck and neck. Russians are hanging on there as well.
So it's really neck and neck between and the camera.
Very smooth to get the head-on shot.
Your picture. And Germany has started to put the pace on a bit. Kenny Wallace is known for his fast pace. He's going to have to really do something soon. 250 meters to go.
The Australians are hanging on here on the outside. I think they're going to definitely have a fast finish. They're just maintaining the pace. Hungarians there, camera is just trying to edge forward onto the Germans, but the Germans aren't letting them by.
Well, this is one of the most anticipated races of the weekend, coming into the last 200
I'm looking down now.
Looks like Germany have...
The Australians are making a go. They're certainly having a go here very hard the last 150. The stroke rate has come right up. They're out of picture there on the TV, but they're just under us here at the
Ken's
grandstand.
really using his finishing skills again to come back.
So last 100 meters, it's Germany in lane 4, Australia in lane number 8. It looks like Germany are at least a length ahead, so they're going to come out with a victory. Fast finishing Kenny Wallace is going to take the second place, and the battle for third is going to be... looks like Hungary, the youngsters.
The young guys, yeah.
Well, that was some finish by Germany.
Yeah.
Again, the home course, home crowd. Very impressive finish.
Yeah. They're holding form since the European Championships there, which they won 3 weeks ago.
Well, that's a very impressive victory, and also extraordinarily impressive in the context for Australia, the progress they've made. Again, Lockie, that's his worst ever result.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said before, the speed at the beginning, and then the finish from Ken Wallace, which he was always known for his finishes when he was racing K1, so I think the combination of the two really works.
Well, the Australians were looking to prioritise clearly their K4 boat, but they still have other options. Well, it's a very impressive win for Germany. The Zoltan camera just being pipped by the pace by the young under-23 Hungarians, who didn't really have much form before the trials last weekend. So Germany have so far won the C1 1000, won the K1 1000, and now won the K2 1000. So it's business as normal here in Duisburg, if we're honest.
A commanding position, all right.
I think they're going to give us the graphics for they're still calling it unofficial, but 3:19, so without the strong wind of last weekend, a bit slower. Germany take the victory from Australia, from the young Hungarians, and the old Hungarians came down in 7th, Poland 4th, Belarus 5th, Russia still experimenting in 6th. That must give a lot of...
there at the end, which caused the sort of slower times from yesterday. I think they were doing 3:11s on the course.
Just shows you how much it means to the Germans to take this victory, and the Vips next to us were delighted as well.
The guys congratulating each other over at boat control.
Well, Lockie Taylor there looks like he's he says he's prepared to die for his teammates. It looks like he's giving it his all.
Yeah, he certainly does.
I think that's one of the main thing about the Australians. They really know how to push it to the limit.
Yeah, they were committed there from the start. They had a great first half, settled, and then they gave it their all in the last bit.
Where you can hear it's the award ceremony for the C1 200 meters just coming up in front of you. As Thomas Konietzki, the president of the German Canoe Federation, giving out the prizes today.
Representing Spain, Alfonso
One of the longest names on the circuit, one of the smallest athletes, Alfonso Benavides Lopez de Ayala, takes the bronze medal after his last week taking a gold medal. Completely different field, Dave, so perhaps a bit of stronger field this weekend.
This is probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest World Cup on the circuit this year.
So great to see China. They have a very small, I think they only have 4 athletes here, but Zhang Li takes the silver medal. He's slowly climbing up the podium. Someone to look out for in the next year or so.
Yeah.
27 years old. So he won the Asian Games, which is his paycheck for the year.
And I think for us that are not Europeans, it's always good to come here and see what happens against the Europe.
What's going on in this part of the world then, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Winner, gold medal, Henrikas Zustahas. So you said that was an internal Lithuanian trial?
I believe that was the Lithuanian selection there between himself and Yevgeny Shuklin. And he comprehensively won his selection and the race.
Absolutely. Still one race to go in the live TV coverage. I guess they're playing Freddie Mercury all the time. Ronnie Rao just walking up the steps, and you can see him with his 11-month-old child. He said he actually has 2 children, and Tom Labish is his second one.
Yeah.
We actually did a profile on them, which will be coming out in the 26-minute documentary, which will be available Thursday or Friday next week.
Oh, very good. Ronnie's a good character. He's a great ambassador for the sport over the years.
See what it means to him to take the victory today. Three minutes until the next race, but they do have the nationalities in front of us. And Emilie FOURNEL, you can tell us about some of these athletes?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of very good crews. Some girls that were racing K1 before going K2. Some crews that have been together for a long time, like the Austrians, the Australians, And again, the Kazakhstan girls that we saw in the 200 meters.
When you're talking about Australia, which team were you talking about? Probably not these. Alisa Bull and Alice Burnett, who are the second Australian team in the actual in the final, which is great to see for them.
Both U23s, and again, they're racers. They love to race, so it should be interesting to see.
See a shot of the Polish girls. I think they're the Olympic bronze medalists.
That's right. There's Karolina Naya, Beata Mikolajczyk. I said that they seem to switch their teams around quite a lot. They're in the K4 500 last weekend. I said, when are you going to find out what you're racing next weekend? They said, probably Tuesday or Wednesday. And I said, do you mind? And they kept quiet.
Another strong crew there, the Belarusians.
Krishna and Yurchenko. Again, they keep switching them around.
We're back to lane 9, the Aussies.
Magneva Litvinchuk, by the way. There's Matija Magnevenchuk. She's actually Magneva. She actually married earlier this year, so that's why she's a change of name from normal. Anna Roxana Lahachi and Victoria Swartz. That's their major priority in lane number 4 this season.
K2 500 meters from the home crew here: Sabrina Herring, Tina Dietz. Another new combination. Tina Dietz, the Olympic champion from the K2 500, was paired with Francesca Weber back in London.
Again, they've been switching the combinations around quite a lot in the last 2 years, haven't they?
They have, yeah. Another Belarusian crew here in this A final. There's another Australian crew there as well. There we have Jo Bridgen-Jones and Naomi Flood in lane 3.
They've analysed what happened, what went wrong last week, because they came disappointing. I think they slowly finished, but they said they'd had more time in the boat and they're up for a good performance this year. And Natalie Sergeeva, at 39 years old, we saw her half an hour ago. She's back in the boat with the same partner, Irina Podnikova. So it'll be interesting to see how they manage to keep that. They're in the K2 200s.
You can see the Australian here, Jo Bridget-Jones in front. She's really quick off the start, and Naomi's good at the finish, a bit like Ken and Lockie that we just saw. So make for an interesting partnership.
We didn't give the Danish girls, I mentioned Emma Jorgensen and Henriette Engel Hansen in lane 8 there.
The world champions in the K2 1,000 metres.
Yeah, Emma's a junior and under 23 world champion as well.
The Belarusians in the middle, very good start.
Well, lane number 6, they do have a strong pedigree and they've won many medals at the World Cups in the last few seasons, but they're certainly half a boat length ahead of Karolina Naya and Beata Mikolajczyk, who again you'd expect to do rather well. Last weekend Karolina Naya was specialising in the 200 metres. This week she goes back to a classic combination. But so far the Belarus pair are taking out quite a high standard.
Oh, totally. Over half a length out there, and we're just approaching the 250 mark there. They are really stretching this out. The Polish are trying to stay in contact with them. The Austrian girls, the far side, are just about holding the bronze medal position there at the moment ahead of the Germans. But
the Danish girls are really holding on.
Well, Danish are known for fast finishing as they did last year in the Worlds, but there's no doubt about who's leading the ball at the moment.
200 metres.
Belarus team.
We're down to almost 150 to go. The Danish, I think, might have crept up into third. The Germans are also challenging for third. But definitely Belarus are ahead, but the Polish seem to have changed gear, trying to mount a challenge.
Coming up.
Well, the last 100 metres, and Belarus are leading, but they've found their second gear, the Polish team, and it's going to be very close coming up to the lane. In your picture there, Karolina Naya, Beata Mikolajczyk are really pushing every stroke. There's now 20 metres to go, and it's Belarus from Poland, but Poland are closing in there. It's not going to be enough. Belarus take the victory from Poland.
Held it, and I think the Germans might have just snuck in and got the bronze medal ahead of the Danish.
That was a very close for second and third.
It's going to be very close also between who was the top dogs in Australia.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was a selection race there between those two crew boats, but...
Well, Jo Bridgen-Jones and for the established A team, but the juniors are trying to come and you spend a bit of time down there, didn't you?
Yeah, no, they're, again, very good people to train with.
Well, in the end, it's a meter in front, Belarus, third place.
Germans just got it.
By half a centimetre, possibly.
That was good for the German crowd. The German really snuck back in there at the end. So.
Oh, the Germans are very supportive of their athletes here, turning out to support them here in the A finals.
Well, it's their day.
No taking away from the Belarusian girls there, though. They dominated from the start to the finish. The Polish girls tried to come back at them in the last 80 metres, but they were strong enough to hold on.
So when you see from the best spot in the house, the commentary position, does it motivate you even more to go and do a wonderful performance so we can talk about it tomorrow?
Of course. Of
Oh
course.
yeah, totally. It's great to watch the guys here, though. It's great. It's great. I always come down even like to watch the finals because
Just break off slightly for second. Well, they won by 0.4 for second in the end. It's Belarus who took the gold medal from Poland, from Germany with Denmark. Fastly followed. Australia were 6th and 8th. We'll have to see which
the Danish girls
team
were
they-
just beaten into fourth by 0.05.
It's nice to see them. They were racing K2000 last year at the World Championships, and Henriette was racing K1 500, so now she's in the K2 500, and I think, you know, coming fourth like this is very exciting for the rest of the season.
Yeah, they've focused on their crew boats this year. They're also doing the K4 500 metres later today. Be lining up with you, Em.
Exciting.
But no doubt about they had the guts to go out and say, we're going to lead from beginning, and they actually managed to hold it on, didn't they? It was quite close, though.
It was at the finish, all right. The Polish girls certainly mounted a great finish against the Belarusian girls.
We have a couple of minutes left. Peter Egan, what are your highlights for the day that you saw today?
Oh, definitely Max Hoff's 1,000 metre finish there. His control through the 1,000 metres was phenomenal. He didn't get carried away with the guys who went out hard. He just stuck to his plan, as Em said. A lot of athletes have their own race plan, and when they stick to it and it comes off and works for them, it really does work in their favour, and Max proved that there today.
And we'll cut you off and say that Emilie FOURNEL, what was your highlights?
I think I'm going to go with Pete. It was the same. It was very, very impressive to see. It's not